just a reflection about science, international relations, and the nature of strategic power competition and what we believe to be the next great frontier of world power competition. First of all, we admire noble, peaceful projects that benefit humanity. We respect the aspirations of the Dear Moon mission. We respect the noble aspirations, while recognizing that we have none of those noble aspirations in ourselves. And just briefly touching upon spirituality. One of the reasons that we admire the Dharmic tradition is because there is a path for each individual. As we understand it, some people are serene, some are contemplative, some may be the polar opposite, but each in their own way, in their own interpretation, in their own nature, in the duty fulfillment, they too can obtain the goal. With that being said, we believe that this is the natural frontier of the next stage of great power competition. To us, it's common sense. Using simple, basic instruments on the surface of the planet Earth, we are able to capture detailed, well, that's a little overboard. We are able to capture some elements of the craters that we wanted to capture. And from a physics standpoint, the moon is the nearest, well, the Earth only has one satellite, right? A natural satellite. It's the nearest object from the planet Earth, the nearest solid object. And the incentive is very clear. Whoever gets a permanent base or structure on the moon. Now, there are international covenants, international laws governing the use of outer space. But from a realist standpoint, this is our opinion that it becomes a natural incentive where the nearest satellite offers strategic advantage capability. So we don't really see that the next frontier is naturally Mars. That's where, basically nations send probes to, but basically the moon is the most logical low-hanging fruit because it is relatively easier to establish a structure on the moon rather than Mars. That the moon is most likely to be the natural theater of the next stage of strategic competition. And most people decried this concept, basically during the Cold War, but the space competition revolutionized science and propelled the progress of many industries. Now, people may or may not agree that NASA went to the moon. We tend to think they did. But if they didn't, someone else is going to be the first to the moon. If NASA went to the moon, then the United States will be back to the moon. But if NASA never landed on the moon, then you bet another competitor is going to land on that moon. So touching back upon spirituality, when we look at the moon, we think about the next frontier of competition. We're not poetic. We're not creative in terms of art or basically serene contemplation. But we truly believe that the next frontier is the low-hanging fruit of the moon because it is the nearest object that may confer some type of strategic benefit. And because it's close by, it is literally within view of simple instruments. The space race, the space competition naturally must continue. It must necessarily continue if if the civilization of Earth is to advance through strategic competition.